Thank you, thank you. Hello, Malaysia. No, I see some hands in the back. Hello, Malaysia. Oh, wonderful. You know, I look at this up here, as you're looking at my backside. Don't make any comments. Executive mindset coach at the Wharton School, international speaker and author of Find Your Voice as a Leader, imposter syndrome mentor. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the original AI. I am the original artificial intelligence because I have lived with imposter syndrome my whole life. And imposter syndrome tells us we're not good enough. You don't have the smarts to actually be up here on stage. You don't actually belong here. In fact, not only is your intelligence artificial, you're kind of a fake and you're kind of a fraud. Now, I'm not going to ask anybody here in the audience if you've ever felt that way, because I do know that a lot of you have. Because up to 80 and 90% of folks have felt like an imposter at some point in their life. Da-da-da-dum. So what I want to talk about today is how do we actually find and use our authentic voice that's inside? Not the voice that we sing with, not the voice that we talk with, but that little voice down here, which can amplify into a big voice up here. And that's what we're going to talk about is how do we find that authentic voice as we begin to live in this age of artificiality? And I promise you, with due respect to all the wonderful expert speakers that talked before me, I won't show any pictures of President Trump. So, by the way, this is my little AI voice right here. It's called Spritzer. Oh, wonderful. What? That's right. Yeah, Paul is really, he's very handsome. I do agree with that, yes. See, my AI voice just talks to me. You can't really hear it. That's what makes it so special. So our job is not to change the world. Our job is not to change the world. Our job is to change ourselves so our world will change. So if we look at growth, and these beautiful speakers that talked all before me, we're talking about that growth mindset. Having that growth mindset versus having that fixed mindset. Living with faith and hope versus living in fear. Now, you might need to help me as I'm up here. I'm going to leave things around. I'm one of those people that goes somewhere and I leave like my glasses over here and I'll leave a pen over here. So if I'm looking for my clicker, somebody just say, Paul, you left your clicker up here, over here. So I'd like to get the audience involved. So the last time I had the pleasure of speaking at the Malaysia Leadership Summit was in 2019, and it was absolutely beautiful. And I just loved being here this week. I came in here on Monday and worked with some clients that I've had here, and they're just absolutely beautiful and wonderful. As you can see, all my clients are beautiful and wonderful. And I love the fact that the twins were all decorated with the colors of the Malaysian flag because of the big ASEAN summit that was going on. And the hotel I was staying at was the Shangri-La, and it was the epicenter for the Chinese delegation. So everyone from China that attended the summit was staying at the hotel. And I happened to get on the elevator, and there's the Chinese premier. He's in the elevator going down. And, of course, he was coming from floor 800 because I was getting on it from floor 4, right? But I got on, and he's kind of sitting there. He's got some people there with him. And I had recognized him from watching sort of the local news. And I was like, well, I can't let this go to waste. I've got to say something, right? And I just said, hi, how are you? And he said, I'm hungry. And I said, well, I guess you better get something to eat. And that was that. We said goodbye. And I'm sure he's like, oh, those Americans, we're not going to have any problem with them at all. Your time on earth, this is a beautiful quote and one that I love to live by. Your time on earth is limited. We know that. We know that our time is limited. Be the oddball, like me. Be the oddball, like me. Be the oddball, like me, who write their own story. Not the pawn. Not the pawn who moves as they're told. Oh, you know what? That's nice. The slides are right down here, too. I keep looking back there. You think I'd know this by now by speaking. So be the oddball. Be the leader who writes and authors their own story versus the leader that is told to move. And when we have something like AI, don't hide behind AI. Don't let it be something that speaks for you. The functionality, the potential with AI is so incredible. But one of my leaders the other day was like this. And he came up to me and he was, I'm blessed to be able to coach at the Wharton School of Business. And I coached the second year executive MBA students. And they're just like all of you. This is the peer group of that team. And I'm able to coach them. And he came up to me and he goes, "Why did you let me do that, Paul? Why didn't you help me? Why didn't you tell me to stop?" And I knew what he was talking about because he had let AI do something for him. He had let AI speak for him. And I'm going to get to what happened with that in just a moment. But as we talk about embedding your organizational DNA with AI, you can't do any of that until you embed what your leadership DNA is within your organization. So I want to start today where a lot of leaders don't actually spend time with their self-awareness of what is their leadership superpower. So this was taken, one of my clients is the EQ Hotel. So EQ is a beautiful hotel, not too near KLCC. And I've done work with them over the last few months with their leadership team. And this was one of our most recent workshops we did there. But we talked about leadership superpower. We talked about building your own leadership brand, building your own leadership story. So here's what you're going to do for the next 2 minutes. I want you to find somebody next to you, maybe one person, 2 people, 3 people, and I want you to talk about to them, what is your leadership superpower? You are all here for a reason. You have all chosen to be here. Whether you have a title that has the word manager in it or not, it doesn't matter. You lead in life. You lead yourself. You lead your family. You lead your friends. You lead at work. It doesn't matter what your title is. But you all are known for a superpower. You all have that within you. Something that people come to you for. So, take 3 minutes, find a group of people next to you, 2 or 3 people, and talk about what your leadership superpower is. Go for it now. Okay. Sounds like there's a lot of good conversations going on, a lot of things about superpower. What's my superpower? What's your superpower? Maybe we can superpower together. Oh, that would be kind of fun. I'm heading towards the back of the room because a lot of people that sit in the back think they're safe from everything else that's going to happen in the front of the room. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let me ask. Oh, there's some really good discussions going on. I'm seeing some hands moving. I'm seeing some fervor. I'm sensing a sense of energy. We love talking about our superpower, don't we? Never, ever, ever forget. Never, ever, ever forget that you all have a superpower. You all have something that makes you unique as a leader, that makes you unique from anyone else. So let me ask for a volunteer. Let me have a volunteer. Let me see a hand. Who would like to kind of volunteer their superpower? Let's see a hand. Let's see a hand. I'm going to stay down here until I see some hands. I know you're full from lunch. I want to see some hands. I'm going to see some hands. Huh? You can volunteer someone else. Oh, I like that idea. I don't know. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, she's volunteering you. So, what is your superpower as a leader?
Leading by example.
Leading by example. Oh, beautiful. Let's give a round of applause. And what is your name?
Jin.
Jin. Why is that a superpower for you?
To ensure that what you say is what you can do to other people.
It's almost like you were planted here. So it's not what you say, it's what you do. Now, how many times have we heard people say something, but they don't follow through? I call that living on Intention Island. I intend to do something, but I never follow through with it. That is absolutely beautiful, Jen. So thank you so much. Here's a copy of my book. Be very happy to sign that later. Okay, over here, we got some stuff going over here with the selfies going on here. Looks like you guys want to talk. How about a volunteer here? My friend? Yes. What's your superpower and your name?
My name is Nicholas from Cloudify, and my superpower is to solve problem.
And why is that a superpower for you?
Because everyone got a problem, so like when we can solve problem, we make the day better for them.
That's beautiful. Everybody's got a problem, and so if you can solve a problem in such a way that you can facilitate it, that's absolutely beautiful. Good job, my friend. Thank you so much. Round of applause for our problem solver. Now you know where to go if you have a problem. Let me go on back here. As I said, the people in the back always sit in the back because they know they're never going to be called on. That's never true sometimes in my presentations. So who would like, I got one book left. Who would like to volunteer? Do I see somebody volunteering? Do I see somebody volunteering? Do I see somebody volunteering? I see beautiful eyes here. There you go.
Thank you. My name is Mara.
Wonderful. And your superpower?
My superpower is energy.
Oh, it's same. Why energy?
Energy, because I would say sometimes I'm a morning person and all the time night person, and I seem to always have energy.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. There you go. Thank you so much. Big round of applause for our energy. I can't tell you how important energy is. We all have vibes that we put off. As leaders, you have a vibe. I have a vibe. I've gotten feedback sometimes. I'm an introvert by nature. Now, I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy being in front of people. But when I'm in an organization, when I used to lead HR, I used to be a chief human resource officer. And that was a job I had no clue what I was doing. So I knew I had a lot of artificial intelligence, so I just hired a bunch of smart people and got out of their way. But I tended to be very quiet in organizations, so my energy was very different. And people could make assumptions. You know, we had the speakers earlier today talk about trust. It was hard for me to kind of build that trust because people didn't necessarily get to know me because my energy was sort of hidden. Because I really wasn't who I was at the organization because I was pretty quiet and people thought I was standoffish. So I had a coach at one time that helped me come out of my shell. So I think they've done a pretty good job after this because now I don't have any problem coming out of my shell. But the true fact of that is you want to find your own energy. You want to find your own vibe. You want to find what works for you, because that's going to be your DNA. So a big round of applause again for all of our superpowers. 77% of Americans, 77% of Americans want tech companies to slow AI development. down to make sure they get it right. Yeah, good luck with that. I was talking to a wonderful group of folks earlier today about the pace of AI. Isn't it just seemed like it's like, whoa, I was in Hong Kong last week, and I was working with a group of business leaders, and including HR, of course, in that, and we were working on managing and delivering difficult conversations. If any of you have ever dealt with that, right, as in HR or as a manager. So we were going through some group coaching on how do you deliver difficult conversations. The first thing I said was, get rid of the word difficult. Let's not call it difficult. Call it something else, because guess what? If you're going to call it difficult, it's going to be difficult. So I said, let's figure out another word, another reframe. And somebody jumped up in the session. They go, oh, we can use AI for this. We can use AI for this. And I said, yes, or a thesaurus. Either way, you can like do either one, right? And it was so cute because I said, yeah, bring up ChatGPT. And one of the people in the group was from IT, and he says, ChatGPT? He goes, that's like the AOL of AI. And I said, no! I've just gotten used to working with ChatGPT, and it's, of course, wonderful. But they were like, I go, it's so many things have come out since then that it's almost like, wow, don't tell me that I'm that far behind. I'm just getting good at using ChatGPT amongst all the other things that we have at our disposal. But 71% of leaders don't feel their AI implementation is completely ready to manage future risk. That's a high percentage. And 64% of leaders report feeling their IT department is not prepared for AI implementation because of a lack of IT skills and talent. Wow, that's a high percentage too. I don't always agree with that. I think a lot of times in organizations, a lot of departments don't understand what IT does, and they think sometimes it's a lack of skills when it's not. But then the IT group also needs to do a good job of communicating what they do, communicating those workflows, communicating those product launches. So anyway, the whole piece around this is there's a lot of room for improvement and development and potential as we look at how are you going to embed AI into your organizational DNA. But the very first thing you want to do is embed it with yourself. Embed it with your leadership. So my client that had sort of the AI disruption, that had this like this incredible crisis of AI, he was like, what would AI do? What would AI do? You know, WWAID, what would AI do? And what he was hiding behind AI. He was doing an all-hands speech, just like this, in front of his organization, or excuse me, his enterprise of about 250 people. Beautiful, thank you. 5 minutes left. Okay, talk really, really fast now. But he was talking, and he was very nervous. He wasn't a speaker. He was nervous in front of people, which of course is perfectly acceptable. So he found AI, of course, and he let AI develop his speech. So I came to listen to him, and he got on stage just like this. He had a microphone. He had great lighting. He was all dressed up really nice. And then he started to talk. And the words coming out of his mouth were not his words. They were words that he never used. It was a tone that he never used. He was reading exactly everything off of AI, what they had written to him. He had loved it so much. And I was in the back of the room, way back there. And I could see people kind of fidgeting. I could see people kind of looking like, who is this guy? This is not who we know. And he knew it. As he was speaking, he knew that it was a misalignment. So what had happened was he had used a very simple prompt or a very simple task for AI, but he had hidden behind it. He didn't make it his own voice, his own words. He had done the old fake it till you make it. And that's not what I use. In my coaching, I say face it till you make it. And when you face something, you embrace it, you engage with it, you make it your own. You don't get intimidated by it. So if AI provides you an incredible wealth of information or an incredible speech, you make it your own. You make it your own. You use both sides of your brain, not just the left, not just the right, but you balance the art and the science together. And then you integrate it. We've talked about this earlier today with the other speakers. It's not just AI and leadership. It's not just work and life. It's all life. How do you integrate it into who you are as a leader? How do you make that, how do you take that DNA and make it, instead of using words like strategic initiative and synergy and value proposition and alignment and ROI and thought leadership, those are all good words, but only if they come from you, only if they come from here, not here. And for him, they came from here. And I told him to get out there and learn the street level for yourself. Get street smart with what you want to say. Get street smart with what you want people to feel, so that you are speaking in a much more authentically. You're speaking authentically from the heart and not artificially from the mind. So remember that. Whenever you use anything with AI, and we're talking about DNA, 1, 2, 3, use the DNA to discover, narrate, and adapt. Discover, narrate, and adapt. Discover, narrate, and adapt. So in other words, I want you to be curious in life, I want you to be creative in life, and I want you to be courageous in life. That's discover, narrate, and adapt. I've got to pass out some cards now that's going to help you be curious in life. We talk a lot about curiosity, and I think sometimes leaders lose their curiosity. I think people lose their curiosity as we get older. And I found this beautiful, beautiful deck of cards from Mari Andrews. And she does this incredible, she takes these incredible photos and she creates these incredible collages of curiosity using nature. So all of you will get one card, and it will be something that comes in nature. Perhaps it's the sun, or it's plant life, or it's thunder, or it's rain. And on the back side of the card, she has wonderful instructions of how to use that particular component of Mother Nature to be curious in life. Something that has nothing to do with our organizations, something that has nothing to do with the four walls that we're in, but something that is always around us in life, and that is nature. So take that card and be curious, take that card and be creative, and take that card and be courageous to step out of your comfort zone to do something else. And always remember, are you living a life worth dying for? Because we're all going to die. We're all going to die at some point. May not want to talk about it, but we are. And I want you to live a life that is worth dying for. I want you to live a life that is authentic. I want you to live a life that is just full of engagement. I want you to live your own AI, that authentic inspiration. And here's my gift to all of you. So besides the wonderful card from Mari Andrews, use this QR code or the URL to get a copy of my book online, and to get a copy of my new book, which is my daily affirmation workbook. I just completed it. It's how to bring affirmations for 365 days into your life. So that's my gift to all of you for taking the time out of your very, very busy lives to be here today, and to hear all of these wonderful, wonderful speakers, to learn from each other, and to just make a difference in today's world. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I look forward to connecting with you later on this afternoon. Take care.